Hey YouTubers, welcome to my channel, Andrea René Abroad, where I talk about Peace Corps, travel, and working abroad. This video is coming to you from Madrid, Spain. I currently am in Madrid after spending 2.5 weeks in Morocco. So if you haven't checked out my videos that I filmed in Morocco, be sure to check that out for some different tips and tricks about making your trip to Morocco go more smoothly. As you can see, there are images of Winnie the Pooh in the background, and that's because I'm currently staying at an Airbnb in Madrid. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing what is on my phone. Like most of you, I also have a phone. I currently have the iPhone 6, so it's an old model, but it still serves me well. In this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my philosophy around cell phones, as well as sharing with you all the different applications that I have on my phone, which of course most of them have to do with the fact that I am a full-time traveler this year. I want to start this video by first sharing my phone philosophy with you all, and in order to do that, I need to first go back all the way to when I first got my very first phone in 2008 when I was in 10th grade. When I was in middle school, most of my friends already had just your regular little phones that everybody had back then, you know, the Razors, the Pebbles, all of those phones. I'm sure they're ringing bells for you all. My parents were a little bit hesitant to transfer from landlines to cell phones, but it eventually got to the point where it was very, very necessary because I was having to borrow my friends' cell phones all the time, and it was just I was starting to feel like I was kind of mooching off of my friends, not because I wanted to, but because I felt like I was super behind technology-wise. All my friends already had cell phones. I was the last one of my friends to get a cell phone. What my parents decided was that if we wanted to have our own cell phones, we needed to pay our own cell phone bills. Now, I thought this was a really good philosophy, and if I ever have children of my own, I will probably make similar negotiations with them. They basically said, okay, we can all have cell phones, but you each need to pay your own bill. My sister and I already did, you know, little like babysitting work and stuff like that, where we were able to, you know, pay for our own cell phone bills. Because remember back then, it was a lot cheaper to have a cell phone. It was like, I don't even remember, maybe it was like $24 a month or something like that. This was before data cell phones. My parents finally agreed to that. We got rid of our landline. We all got our own cell phones, and it was just a little like slide phone, and I absolutely loved it with T9 and everything. When I got to college, I upgraded to my first iPhone, and I don't remember how many iPhones I have had, but like I said before, this is the iPhone 6, so it's an older model. Yes, I could have updated my cell phone a long time ago. Our plan is with Sprint. Like most cell phone companies, they allow you to upgrade your phone every 2 years, but I don't know, I have been recently starting to question the idea that we should be updating our phone every 2 years. Some people even update their phone every year. My plan is honestly to hold on to this phone until it dies. That's at least my phone philosophy with the structural part of the phone. Now let's talk a little bit about my phone philosophy having to do with like how much I use my phone. So on my phone, I have turned off all notifications. The only notifications that I have turned on are text message, phone calls, and it's only the banner. I do not have the red circle notification on any of my applications. I find this very distracting, and I also do not see it as a notification. I see it as an interruption. Now, I'm not the person who came up with that terminology. I first heard about this on the podcast The Minimalists. They have a podcast on cell phones, and they discussed how cell phones, actually, it's not a notification, it is an interruption. And I really latched onto that idea because I really did feel interrupted every time that I had that. Also, I don't like the little red icons, because if I open my phone with the intention of going on one application, those little red circles will often distract me, and then I'll end up clicking that one instead, and then I'll forget why I opened up my phone in the first place. Here's one other thing that might blow your mind. I do not have an email application on my phone. This was a decision that I made during Peace Corps, because during Peace Corps, I expected to be off the grid, but then I was really, really shocked when I realized the number of emails that I was receiving from Peace Corps during Peace Corps, from my bosses, from everybody. It just made me very anxious, the number of emails that I was receiving during Peace Corps, and so I decided to completely delete my email app from my phone. And honestly, I have never ever regretted that decision. So I have not had email on my phone for almost 3 years now, and I have never missed anything. So I don't know, I would recommend that you all at least do a trial run of deleting your email from your phone just to see, like, will you really miss anything? I have never missed anything at all. Think about this. Email was created before cell phones. So originally email is something that we're really only supposed to be using on our computer anyways. And of course, I know some of you have, you know, really high intense jobs that require you to have your email on your phone, or at least you think you're required to have your email on your phone, but I would really suggest that you explore this idea a little bit more. I love not having my email on my phone. It makes me feel much more relaxed and not like, it reduces the amount of urgency, I think, to respond to emails. And I think people know that about me. Like, they know that if they send me an email, they should not be expecting an immediate reply. If you need an immediate reply from me, then you should be sending me a text message or calling me, honestly. That's my phone philosophy. So let's talk about my different applications on my phone. So I'm just gonna go through them and you can see what I have on my phone. So let's go ahead and first start with the first page of my phone. Pretty much like everybody, I have, you know, my calendar, my clock. The calculator is up there because I actually use that a lot, so that's why I have the calculator right there. The weather app that is in Fahrenheit, although I try to use Celsius when I can. Camera, photos, Safari, settings. Then I have Google Maps. I was using just the regular Apple Maps for a really long time, but I finally converted to Google Maps because this is actually my transportation, my public transportation application, as well as like a walking instructions application. So whenever I need to get anywhere, I use Google Maps. And I started doing this in Australia because the Melbourne public transportation app was really confusing to me and not intuitive. So I ended up using Google Maps all the time when I was in Australia, and then that's just carried over to this particular travel. My notes application is really important to me because I always pre-write all of my Instagram posts just so I can copy and paste them right into the application. It's just easier for me to type in notes on my computer and then being able to copy and paste it to Instagram. Next on here is Goodreads. I read a ton. In fact, I read 50 books every year. That is a goal that I created for myself 3 years ago, and I absolutely love it. I think it's really awesome to read a lot, and also I'm a language arts teacher in the United States, so it makes sense that I should be well read and always reading and being up to date on what books are popular. Okay, app, that's normal. Music, I'm honestly really bad at having music on my phone, but I do use that occasionally. Next, I have podcasts. I absolutely love podcasts. I wish I had more time to listen to podcasts, but they're kind of in conflict with all of the audiobooks that I listen to, and I only have so much time in the day. So I like to listen to news podcasts as well as health podcasts. So I kind of have a balance of like those two things, and I listen to them whenever I can. Next is Libby, which is my audiobook and ebook application through my library back at home. A lot of people are always talking about Audible here on YouTube and other things, but I really highly encourage you all to just check out your local library and ask them if they have an audiobook and ebook application, because then you get it for free. I mean, you're already paying for your library through taxes, so you should probably find out if they have an audiobook and ebook application. That's how I listen to all my ebooks, audiobooks on my Kindle. You can easily transfer them to your Kindle if you have a Kindle, so look into that if you haven't already. Next on here we get to a very specific travel application, which is Rick Steves Audio Europe. Now, for those of you who are from the US, you know who Rick Steves is. He is an American travel guide who I think honestly caters to the retired American audience for the most part. But the reason why I really like this application is because he has a whole bunch of podcasts on here from his radio show that he did. And so all you have to do is open up the application and then select the country that you are currently in, and you can download the podcasts for that country, listen to them. It's just really nice because I always learn more than I would if I didn't have the podcast with me. So that's honestly been so great for me. And also for the major cities in Europe, he has an actual like walking guide for that city. So for example, I did the one in Lisbon, and then I'm going to do the one for Madrid today. So I'm really looking forward to that. So if you're coming to Europe, I really recommend that you download this audio guide because you will learn a lot from it. Next, I have YouTube because I am a YouTuber, and next I have Instagram. And next I have Messenger. So let me pause on Messenger for a second. The only reason why I have Messenger on my phone is because I'm traveling. When I'm in the United States, I do not have Messenger on my phone at all. And you will notice that I do not have Facebook on my phone, the actual just Facebook application on my phone. Again, I feel the same way about Facebook as I do on email. Honestly, I wouldn't have Facebook if there weren't like contacts on there that I don't have anywhere else, like on WhatsApp or Instagram. I have Messenger because when I'm abroad, I can't call people except for on Messenger or WhatsApp. So generally people will have one or the other. So that's why I have Messenger on my phone. Next I have Yelp, which is just really great to recommend me any restaurants or salons or coffee shops, anything that I happen to be looking for. It did not work in Morocco, but it works in Portugal and Spain, and I'll see which other countries it ends up working in. Okay, so down below, let's go ahead and look at these green icons. So that's just my normal phone call one, which I can't really use here abroad. I just use it for adding contacts. WhatsApp, of course, I think WhatsApp is really great. I know that it is owned by Facebook, but I feel like it's a really, really handy application to have, especially when I'm abroad. My normal texting one, and then FaceTime. While I'm talking about this, I wanted to also touch on whether or not I'm using a SIM card while I am abroad. I am not, and that is because, again, my phone plan is with Sprint, and the particular phone plan that my family has is it allows us to have unlimited texting in any country, which is really awesome. And then also the other added benefit is I get 2 gigs of roaming data every month. I think I've said this before, I deleted or I canceled my American plan during Peace Corps because that was 2 years. But you know, now I'm older and I need to have a phone number whenever I'm in the United States just for various reasons. So I do still have an American phone number, which is attached to my WhatsApp and whatnot. And then also the 2 gigs of roaming data and unlimited text messages have been like extremely handy for me. Okay, so let's go to the next page on my phone. So this one is very specific to traveling. On the first one that I have here is BlaBlaCar. For those of you who have not traveled to Europe, maybe you've never heard of BlaBlaCar. It is essentially long distance Uber, but it's carpooling, and it's much cheaper than Uber. So basically, let's say for example that I was in New York and I was going to drive to DC. I would be able to upload that I was traveling these distances from New York to DC on this application, and then I would also list the number of seats that I had available in my car. And then different people who use the application, so yes, strangers, but they each have a profile and you can vet them, they would request to have a ride with me from New York to DC. And it's very, very affordable because often each seat will only cost, I've never seen a seat that costed more than $20. Usually, I mean, I've gotten seats for even just like $7 or $6. It's been very, very affordable. And a lot of times it's even cheaper than taking the bus. So because I'm long-term traveling, I'm always looking for the most affordable way to get from one city to the next. And actually here in Europe, a lot of times it has been BlaBlaCar, just like paying for one seat. I think I've done BlaBlaCar maybe 3 times now. It's just been so great. Extremely affordable. And then the other thing is like you pay for it online, which is nice. As you all know, ATMs always charge fees for taking out cash. So whenever I can use my card, that is truly my preference. So I can use the card with BlaBlaCar. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned, it was actually a YouTuber here in the comments who recommended BlaBlaCar to me. So I just wanted to shout out and say thank you for recommending BlaBlaCar to me. That was absolutely awesome. Next on here, I have Hostelworld. So actually, let me talk about these 3 ones on here all at the same time. For hospitality purposes, I have Hostelworld, Couchsurfing, and Airbnb on my phone. Basically, what I do whenever I'm going to a city is my first preference is always Couchsurfing. Yes, it is free, and that's a really awesome benefit, but for me, the reason why I travel is twofold. I travel to meet people and for nature. Those are the 2 things that speak to me the most when I travel, and I think part of that is because I was a Peace Corps volunteer and I can really, really understand the value of living with a local, and same with my experience of being an au pair, living with locals. You always just learn so much more about a culture, and often in my experience, the times I think I have couch surfed with like 5 or 6 hosts at this point here in Europe and in Morocco, I always enjoy a city more when I have a couch surfing host. I get to learn from them, talk to them, eat with them, It's just such an amazing experience, and I really, really recommend it to you all. So couchsurfing is always my very first preference. And then it's honestly a toss-up between Hostelworld and Airbnb. I'll take whichever is more affordable. So for example, here in Madrid, I'm here on the weekend in Madrid, and the cheapest hostels that are available are really, really expensive, like $27, whereas I was able to get this Airbnb for $15 a night, and I have my own room. There's a bathroom I can use. I do share it with another, they're hosting multiple Airbnb folks here in this particular apartment. You know, I have the kitchen I can use, I have Wi-Fi. It's just like, why would I stay in a hostel if I can have a much cheaper Airbnb and then have a room to myself? Those are the 3 hospitality apps that I'm currently using. If you know of any other ones, please comment below. I'm always looking for new ideas of, especially ones that are more like couchsurfing, where I can really be integrated into a community. That's always the best option for me. Next, we have, I'll talk about these 3 all together again. So Google Drive, Docs, and Dropbox. There are just like a few different documents that I frequently access. So for example, my itinerary, I have it on Google Docs, and I'm always updating it, and it just really helps me stay focused, just because I'm going to so many different places during this trip, so I need to keep it all straight, the dates straight, also the visa, so like how many days I'm in Schengen. I need to make sure that I don't go over the 90 days that are allotted to American citizens. And then Dropbox, that's usually where I'll upload all of my like e-tickets. Currently I have like the Madrid metro system on there as well, so just being able to access that offline. Both of these applications allow me to access documents offline if I so choose. Next, I have Uber. I have not used Uber once on this trip, but I'm kind of keeping it on there just like as a fail-safe, just in case. The next 2, or actually next 3, I wouldn't really have these on my phone, but I can't delete them for some reason. So that's just health, find iPhone, wallet. Like, I just can't delete them. And then next on here, I have Go Euro, which is really awesome. So Go Euro is basically you type in where you are and where you're going, and they'll give you the price of blah blah car, train, bus, airplane. So they'll compare all the prices for you. So that's what I do every time that I'm about to go somewhere new, is I'll type in my next destination on Go Euro, and then it will tell me what is my cheapest option. So that's a really good application to have while you're traveling here in Europe. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have on my phone. So as you can imagine, when I'm in the United States, the number of applications on my phone is way lower. When I'm back at home, of course, I will have a few additional applications, such as my TriMet, that's our metro system in Portland, application, and then my library app, my bank app. I feel like you have to have a phone in this day and age, and I know there are people out there who don't have a phone, and kudos to you. I think that's awesome. Definitely as a traveler, it's been really handy, especially those 2 free gigs of roaming data. That has been absolutely a lifesaver on multiple occasions. Of course, I could have gotten like a SIM card, you know, that's always an option, but I'm really glad that I don't have to have a SIM card. I think that pretty much covers it. So yeah, that's my phone philosophy and the different phone applications that I have on my phone. Hopefully you have found out about a few new applications that you haven't heard about before that might improve your travel. If you know of any applications that you think would be good for me to have on my phone, and I don't currently have them on my phone, please comment below and tell me a little bit about them. And then hopefully you also got some ideas from me sharing my phone philosophy with you all. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions about my phone or my phone philosophy or the applications I'm using down below. I will see you all actually on Wednesday for a special video. I just got my first sponsor, but I want to make sure that my sponsorship videos will appear on a different day than the videos that I just do for you all. So I'm really excited, really excited to tell you all about my first sponsorship, but you'll just have to wait until Wednesday. All right, I'll see you all on Wednesday.